Hello and welcome. Recently, GST Network, in short GSTN, has released an advisory. This advisory is about an upcoming feature related to GSTR3B. This new feature is called interest calculator functionality. Today, let's talk about it in detail. If you would like to know more about GSTR3B, you may watch my earlier video in which I have explained in detail what's GSTR3B and how can it be filed on the GST portal using Tally Prime. The link in the top right corner. Now back to today's topic. As the name suggests, this interest calculator functionality automatically calculates interest on delayed payment of GST. The interest so calculated would be auto-populated in table 5.1 of GSTR3B. So it does two things. One, auto computation of interest. Two, auto population of this interest in table 5.1 of GSTR3B. According to this advisory, this new feature would be implemented shortly. Once it is implemented, no more manual calculation of interest like late fee, which is also auto-populated now. But before we begin, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more videos on GST, income tax, tally, etc. In this video, first let's learn basics of this functionality. Next, we'll understand when interest is applicable and how to compute the same. After that, we'll see what you as taxpayers are required to do hereafter while filing GSTR3B on the GST portal. In the end, we'll understand what are the key takeaways from this interest calculator functionality. So, let's begin with the basics of this functionality. This interest calculator functionality would compute interest on the basis of values declared by taxpayers in their GSTR3B. Similar to late fee, this computed interest would be auto-populated in table 5.1 of GSTR3B for the next period. That means interest for November 2021 would be auto-populated in GSTR3B for December 2021. Initially, these auto-populated interest values can be edited. Filed GSTR3B in PDF format would contain both system computed and edited interest values. Let us now understand when interest would be applicable. First, when there is a delay in filing of GSTR3B, then when there is a delay in declaration of liability. Let's go through these scenarios in detail. First, delayed filing of GSTR3B. That means GSTR3B is filed after due date. If so, interest would be applicable after due date till the date of filing of GSTR3B. If you are filing GSTR3B for November 2021, then due date would be 20th December 2021. Let's say you filed this GSTR3B on 25th December 2021. If so, interest would be payable from 21st December to 25th December 2021. Let's now see how the interest is calculated. Interest is equal to tax liability multiplied by number of days since due date till filing of GSTR3B over number of days in the year multiplied by rate of interest. Let's say you have a GST liability of 1 lakh for November 2021. Due date of GSTR3B for November 2021 would be 20th December 2021. GSTR3B was filed by you on 25th December 2021. So number of days delayed, that is from 21st December to 25th December is 5. Rate of interest applicable here is 18% per annum. Substituting these values in the formula, this is the interest that we have to pay. Now the second scenario, that is delayed declaration of liability. That is, liability of previous tax period is declared in the current tax period. If so, interest would be applicable after the due date of GSTR3B till the date of declaration of liability. Let's say you missed to declare a tax invoice for September 2021 in your GSTR3B. You filed your GSTR3B for September on 20th October 2021, that is within the due date. Later you declared this missing invoice in GSTR3B for November 2021. And you filed GSTR3B for November 2021 on 19 December 2021. If so, interest would be payable from 21st October 2021 to 19 December 2021. The method of computation is same even here. Here, the interest would be computed for 60 days of delay. We have now understood when interest would be applicable and how interest is computed. Now let us see how does this new interest calculator functionality work. A new button called Tax Liability Breakup Voluntary would be provided on the payment page of GSTR3B. By clicking on this button, you will be able to declare liability pertaining to earlier tax period. This is the new button. This new button would be enabled only after making payment or adjustment through cash or credit ledger. That is only after you click on this make payment or post credit to ledger and make payment or make adjustment entries. Only then the new button would be enabled. This new button would appear even on the verification screen. You can click on this button and provide breakup of tax liability. Here, breakup of tax liability is specified from July 2021 to October 2021. Click on save. Once you click on save, file GSTR3B buttons would be enabled. You can tick the checkbox and click on file GSTR3B button and file your GSTR3B. Interest computed using interest calculator functionality would be auto-populated in the next GSTR3B in table 5.1. You may click on system generated GSTR3B to see how the interest has been computed. Initially, this interest value can be edited, but when you reduce the interest, the cell would turn red and it would throw you a warning. If the interest that you have computed is correct, then you may click on proceed and file your GSTR3B. So what are the key takeaways from this interest calculator functionality? First, for taxpayers who are filing GSTR3B within the due date, such taxpayers can skip this interest calculator functionality because no interest would be payable if you file your GSTR3B within the due date. No other change in GSTR3B for such taxpayers. For taxpayers who file their GSTR3B after the due date, this interest calculator functionality would be useful. You would get a pop-up to declare the breakup of the liability. You can select yes to declare liability for any previous tax periods and declare breakup of liability tax period wise. Considering our earlier example, for declaring the missing invoice of September in November GSTR3B, you can use this functionality and specify the breakup of liability for September and November. You may skip to declare this breakup if the entire liability pertains to the current tax period, because by default the liability would be considered as liability for the current period. If you are filing your GSTR3B for December 2021 on 25th December 2021 instead of 20th December, then you may skip to declare the breakup, in which case the entire liability would be considered as liability for December 2021. This interest calculator functionality would be implemented shortly. Probably it might be ready by the time we start filing our GSTR3B for December 2021. According to the advisory released by GST Network, this would help taxpayers calculate correct interest, which in turn would contribute to ease of filing return. If you enjoyed this episode, you may like the video. You may spread knowledge by sharing this video with others. Thank you for watching.